Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As I started with the topic of drowning, and this is the second lecture, and in this I'll be discussing mechanism of drowning. As we know, our body has a natural buoyancy, and this buoyancy is because the body weight is 75% made of water and 5% of fat. So, because of 80% of this weight, the body has a natural buoyancy. Uchal, pani mein uchal, pani throws up, that is buoyancy. And we know that the fat is lighter than water and having specific gravity 0.9. And thus the major portion of the body has a natural tendency to float, and this is known as natural buoyancy. Now, the process of drowning. What happens in drowning? When a non-swimmer falls into water, he sinks. He initially sinks, वो पहले डूबता है. And why? Because initially because of the force of fall and partly due to the weight of the body. So शुरू में जब इंसान पानी में गिरता है तो वो डूबता है, he sinks, and that is because of the force of fall and weight of the body. The person then rises to the surface because of natural buoyancy. जो उसकी कुदरती उछाल है वो उसको ऊपर की तरफ उठाती है. And secondly, there is some trapped air in the clothes which also pushes up. And this air which has been trapped between the body and the clothes and some struggling efforts, person is making struggling efforts. So all these combine together and the person comes to the surface. Natural buoyancy, trapped air, and the struggling movements of the body. And on coming to the surface, there are violent attempts to breathe or shout, and some of the air is inhaled and water also passes into the mouth. So during this vigorous effort, air and water both enter into the mouth, and some of the water is aspirated in the respiratory passages and somewhat is swallowed in the stomach. So this is during the first rising up. Then there is violent coughing due to aspiration of water because this water irritates the respiratory tract and there is violent coughing. Then some of the air is expelled out of the lungs because of the cough, and it is again replaced by water which is drawn into the lungs. So these violent efforts of cough not only pushes the air which is in the lungs out of the lungs, but it also inhales water. And the specific gravity of the body starts rising, and now the body will sink below the surface once again. Then the irregular movements of the limb once again bring the body to the surface, and it may sink again due to inhalation of more water. And this happens going down and coming up to the surface, again going down and coming up to the surface. This happens again and again, and finally the body sinks. So all these rigorous efforts, that initially the body sinks because of the force of the fall, because of the weight of the body, and then the natural buoyancy, the trapped air and the movements of the limbs pushes the body up. Then person breathe again more water, there is violent coughing, expulsion of air, inhalation of water, and body again sinks. So that's is the process of drowning. So by this time, the consciousness is lost and the person may flounder aimlessly in water, is moving aimlessly in water, is disoriented, and this is because of the vestibular disturbances and loss of sense of direction because of the hemorrhage in the tympanum. And this hemorrhage is due to increased pressure from the surrounding water. Thank you very much. So this was all about the process of drowning.